Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Talking Toku, Boston and Bellingham's only podcast about Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, and all their kaiju friends. I am your host, David Scrivani.
I'm your second host, Brian Kershaw. How dare you dox me like that and tell them where
You've
I
doxed
live?
yourself before, Brian.
Yeah,
You
you're right.
were the one who said Bellingham in the first place a couple episodes ago.
Yeah. Oh well.
So don't you come at me with that. Well, today we got a doozy of an episode, don't we, Brian?
Yeah, we're gonna put our money where our mouth is.
Yeah, we've talked many, many times in the past about the fact that we don't like 2019's Godzilla King of the Monsters, which, if you ask a lot of fans, they'll be like, oh, it's the best Godzilla movie of all time. I loved it when Burning Godzilla did the thing and killed Ghidorah. Spoilers. But it's just, it ain't good. It ain't good. And we're going to tell you why we don't like it. But
We're gonna give you our very hot takes.
it is a pretty spicy take.
I mean, I don't think it's a very hot take because I think it's somewhat reasonable. But
It is reasonable, but if these are Godzilla fans we're dealing with here, Brian.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
True. they're second. They're second to only like Star Wars fans.
Yeah. Anyways, but we gotta get some news out of the way first. So we got. How do you want to do this, Brian? I'm going to take that third big boy news. Do you want me to just do the first one and then you can do the second and then I'll do the third?
Let me look at here. So you want to do the third?
Yeah. So I
You do
can
the first.
start off.
You do the
Okay.
You do the first. I'll do the second.
All right, cool. Well, it's admittedly been a slow couple of weeks for news. There's a bunch of, really small stories that I felt didn't really warrant their own blocks. So I'm just gonna run them down real quick. If you need to slow the podcast down, feel free. Most of the entire Showa era of Godzilla was put up for free on YouTube Movies with ads. So now those films are even more easily available to fans. My guess is that King Kong versus Godzilla is probably one of the ones not, because that movie is a copyright nightmare.
I can confirm it's not on there.
All right, well, there you go. Tsuburaya Productions announced a DVD set featuring 14 of Shin Ultraman writer Hideaki Anno's favorite episodes from across the franchise, including 10 episodes of Ultra Fight, chosen by the film's director Shinji Higuchi, which we have talked about before. I wasn't aware Anno was just the writer. I thought he was directing it, but that is not the case. So apologies for misinformation that we have perpetrated in the past, but I was not aware of that. Yeah, fake news.
We're the fake news. Definitely not mainstream media.
We're getting there, Brian. We're getting there. We're getting some pretty good follows on Instagram. We already have like 30-something followers on Instagram, and that's like way more than Facebook and Twitter.
Damn.
There was a 30-second teaser for season 2 of Netflix's Ultraman, which really didn't show off anything interesting or give us a release date beyond September 2022. So they're just there to remind us, hey, this is still a thing that is definitely coming out. We got a first look at Jordan Vogt Roberts' upcoming Gundam film for Netflix, which looks really neat. It's just a Gundam surrounded by fire, but it looks cool. That's all I have to say on that.
Wasn't that stuck in development hell, or is that his?
That's his Metal Gear movie.
Metal Gear movie.
Yeah, no. Gundam was like only announced like less than a year ago now.
Konami's gonna hold Metal Gear hostage.
Most likely.
Death of the universe.
Eureka Entertainment released a non-limited edition of their excellent Mothra Blu-ray from last year, which I do have. It's some good shit. But do keep in mind, Eureka is a UK-based company, so all their discs are on Region B. So for anyone listening in the States, which is probably most of you, you are going to need a region-free Blu-ray player, but they're pretty inexpensive. I bought mine for like $100. So, and you know what? It's been such a great decision because I bought that super limited big boy Dawn of the Dead set from Second Sight, which has like every cut of the film that's ever existed, and it's great. It's great. If you don't have a region-free player, you gotta get one. Good investment, absolutely.
You telling me or you telling the fans?
I'm telling everyone, which includes you.
Okay, all right. Maybe someday. Second story.
Second story, all you, friend.
Second. All right, all me. Okay, all right. On to some bigger stories. The Godzilla YouTube channel recently debuted a new series, Godzilla Chomp, in which Toho International creative manager and writer of Godzilla Rulers of Earth, Chris Mowry, I hope I said
That is
right,
the correct pronunciation,
gives the audience a virtual tour of Toho's Los Angeles headquarters. So I did not even know that was a thing. Showing off a bunch of rare Godzilla memorabilia with help from his dog Peanut. Adorable. It's a neat little series so far, and Chris is a great dude, so I have no doubt the show will continue to be a fascinating watch. I'm gonna go watch that.
Yeah, he actually announced it on his on the panel he did for Kaiju Masterclass, which was like, I don't know, maybe a week before the Godzilla Chomp debuted. But yeah, he mentioned it and he was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be cool. And Peanut's gonna be with me." I'm like, yes, good stuff. Always like some.
I didn't even know Toho had a Los Angeles off.
Yeah, no, it's a fairly recent thing. Like ever since it's really been like since the MonsterVerse has been gaining popularity, and in turn Godzilla being more popular in the States now.
Wow, how topical.
They opened a international office. So yeah. All right. Our biggest story this week, and also our most controversial, not in general, just for this week. New rules are being implemented for next year's G-Fest convention. Are they rules to be safe from COVID-19? I wish that were the case. They are putting in new restrictions for the convention's popular Artists Alley, which is just a room chock full of a bunch of Godzilla and kaiju artists, whether it be big names,
sweaty nerd artist fans.
Yeah, whether
I've been in this room and it is cramped and small.
Yeah, whether it be big names of people who have licensed stuff like Matt Frank, or smaller artists like Lisa Nafziger. It's a great place. I mean, you've been there at the Artist Alley. You saw all the cool stuff they were selling down there.
I bought hundreds of dollars worth.
He did, because that's what you do at conventions. You spend hundreds of dollars on stuff that you really don't need, but it's cool anyways. It's one of the highlights of the convention for a lot of people. But for some reason, G-Fest is restricting the distribution of all Toho-related fan art at next year's convention, which means you cannot sell art related to the G in the name of the convention.
Holy shit.
However, there is a caveat. You can still sell the fan art as long as it is licensed, which, of course, by definition, makes it not fan art anymore. It's official art. Point is, at a convention solely dedicated to celebrating kaiju media, this is like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
And you could say the same for any convention. Like, what, you're going to tell people at a Star Wars convention they can't sell Star Wars stuff? I talked to Ray Frumme, who is, I'm not like a good friend. He's not like a good friend of mine, but we are acquainted. We've spoken a couple of times. And he said, it used to be 15 people 10 years ago. And now it's grown so much that they actually have to put a cap on how many people they allow to be at the artists alley. Which is 15 to 50 people in 10 years is ridiculous if you think about it. And, a lot of artists rely on conventions like this to make a living because that's where they sell a lot of that artwork. So to have such like draconian restrictions like this is going to alienate a lot of those artists from even wanting to participate in the alley. It's not like getting your art licensed by whatever company owns whatever characters, especially Godzilla, is going to be easy. They're infamous for being stingy with their copyrights for Godzilla. And up to now, they've never cared about it. But it's not Toho requesting this. This is G-Fest being overly cautious about doing it. So I don't understand where this is coming from. I really don't.
So like here's my like, it's probably just going to be like for artists more trouble than it's worth, because like for artists selling their art, they need to take into account the money it takes to produce their art, like whether they need to make copies of it, whether they spend their time, thus money, making art and spending it on supplies. And then they have to, they have their own costs associated with being able to even set up shop at this place.
Yeah.
And then, whether that's, travel costs and supplies and, whatever. Now they have to worry about getting a license.
Yeah. God knows how much that's going to be.
Sell this, and licensing for anything is not cheap.
Yeah. And again, this is Godzilla we're talking about too.
And this is another cost that you will put onto it, whether it is cheap or not, which I don't think it's going to be cheap.
No, I don't think so
either. Especially if you need to get like a bunch of licenses for different characters that you're putting in an art piece.
Yeah, it seems still very vague from what Ray told me. It just sounds like any Toho IP, but he didn't say whether or not like he didn't say whether or not you would need to get a license for Godzilla and Mothra and Rodan or something like that. He didn't, and I'm sure it's not him being intentionally vague. I'm sure it's G-Fest being vague about it. It just seems like there's a lot of miscommunication going on.
Maybe like the G-Fest organizers got like some kind of threat from Toho or something.
I highly doubt that. They've never cared about it before.
I doubt it too, but like a decision like this is just so bizarre, like out of nowhere, that it makes me think maybe they had gotten a talking to or something. I don't know.
I truly have no idea.
I don't see why Toho, out of all the years, would decide to care about it now.
Yeah, no.
Because they make enough money off of their own
the conventions. It's almost 30 years old now.
Yeah.
So why did it take them
the whole time?
Yeah. So I don't know why they're choosing now to care about potential lawsuits. It just doesn't. If that's even what they care about, which I have to imagine it is.
Maybe they're trying to. Maybe this is their way of trying to limit the amount of artists that want to be there instead of just making a cap. Maybe it's just save face, but I think
why? That's such a weird way to go about it.
I know, but I mean, some bad decisions have been made before with everything like this, where someone does something to gain an effect and then it just ends up looking worse.
I really hope this ends up getting rolled back because I may have talked about this on the show before, but people have been getting kind of sick of JD Lee's bullshit. In 2020, he was still kind of he was very much kind of pushing the COVID is just the flu kind of thing. And so people got really upset about that. Like, hey, a lot of people are dying from this. You should cancel the convention. And he's like, oh, no, it's just the flu. We'll be fine. And then, of course, the government of the Illinois people, whatever, they ended up they forced him to cancel it, obviously. And then I think later that year, there was an op-ed in G-Fan magazine about, and it was an article that was an anonymous author, which people clearly understood was, oh, this is JD, and he was going off about like, oh, will cancel culture come for King Kong versus Godzilla? Which, yeah, the representation of native peoples in that movie isn't the greatest, but like literally no one has cared about it, and cancel culture isn't really a thing, so shut up. So between those
the word has lost all meaning.
It never had any meaning to begin with, because cancel culture isn't a thing.
It's not real.
Exactly. So between those three things, G-Fest in general, I think, has left a bad taste in people's mouths. And I don't know how well it's going to do going forward.
Hold on. Dave, let's make our own convention.
That's the thing. People have been talking about doing that.
It's going to be Talking Toku Fest.
TokuCon. I like that. I like the sound of that.
Actually, that is a really good ring to it.
That's it. Hey, yeah. Talking Toku's got a great ring to it. TokuCon. I'm good at making things that have a nice ring to it. What can I say?
Yeah, TokuCon, probably 2025 at this point.
Yeah, it'll probably take us that long, honestly.
Yeah. But, tell your friends about us. They give us money. Donate to our Patreon.
Yeah.
One tier.
So yeah. It's a interesting situation. I really hope they roll it back, because it's such the fact that you have to pay more to sell Godzilla art at a Godzilla convention, it's very weird to me, and I don't like it.
What a boring dystopia.
Yeah, very much so.
Damn.
But that's about it for the news. Brian, should we move on to our next segment?
Yeah, or we move on to our world famous r/Godzilla fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Segment.
So initially, given the nature of today's topic, I said, oh, we probably don't even need an r/Godzilla segment, because r/Godzilla would probably come for our throats if they heard us talking shit about Godzilla King of the Monsters. And then 4 days ago, I saw this post, and it really pissed me off. So it's just a meme, but it's a meme comparing the 1998 Godzilla to the MonsterVerse Godzilla. You know, just saying how much the 98 Godzilla sucks compared to the MonsterVerse one. And it's like, it's 2021. Why are we still dunking on this movie that's really not that bad?
It's a slam dunk. It's low hanging fruit, Dave.
It really is.
It's karma farming.
I mean, yeah, sure. Which is, my half of what Reddit is.
My problem with it is the comments are just so cringy. It's just people I don't know, dude. The comments are just so cringy.
They really are.
It's just people saying literally Godzilla 98 bad, MonsterVerse good.
Yeah, here's one that's like right above my comment I left on it. I will never forgive Gino and its creators for that unholy abomination. May Emmerich's career lie in ruins. May his foul attitude be a poison to his soul. Fuck that movie. Fuck its supporters. Fuck its Jurassic Park wannabe bullshit. Like, why are you taking this so seriously? You're acting like Roland Emmerich himself walked into your house and shot your parents in the face while you watched.
Oh my god, it's so stupid.
Like, yeah, I
don't think anyone's arguing.
I just saw a really funny comment. It goes, unpopular opinion, Godzilla 1998 is bad.
Yeah, I saw that one.
All right, that's pretty good. But like I understand. Objectively, the film is not good. Objectively, the film is not a good Godzilla movie. I understand that. But like,
and also it's like, people have their own opinions. You can full well not like it and have, legitimate reasons for not liking it. I don't fucking like it. I think it's boring and it sucks.
mm-hmm.
But that movie came out the year I was born. I am not torn up about it.
Yeah. And here's the thing. That's a movie people watched as kids, and that was their gateway into the franchise.
Even a lot of people in the comment sections
are saying that, yeah.
98, they like, in any conversation about 98, people say that. People are like, I hate this movie, but it introduced me to Godzilla. So, and like, there's probably, thousands of people that have that same experience.
Exactly. It's so frustrating. It's the fact that we're still dealing with this.
It's the epitome of like, it's the epitome of like low effort content.
Yeah, I was talking about this with some friends of mine on Discord like last week. I don't even remember why. Oh, I remember why, because I had seen those like 67th anniversary Godzilla retrospectives, which is it was just a clip show of all the Godzilla movies set to music. And I noticed in the one I was watching, there's no Godzilla 98. And I mentioned on Discord, anyone who makes, high key, anyone who makes a Godzilla retrospective and doesn't use any footage from 1998 is a fucking coward.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, and I brought this up later on that night, because I got into a Twitter argument, big mistake, I know, about Star Wars, really big mistake, I know.
Oh no, Dave.
Yeah.
That's a new low even for you.
I because this guy was like, oh, he was talking about The Last Jedi, of course. He was like, oh, this isn't Star Wars. And I'm like, well, here's the thing. The title of the film is Star Wars. So I'm pretty sure that means it's Star Wars. And the guy kept arguing about it. And I'm like, I've been going to bat for Godzilla 1998 about this exact same thing for fucking years. Do not test me.
Yeah.
I want to put this behind us. It's been out for 23 years. Why are we still...
As long as American Godzilla films keep coming out, you're gonna keep seeing this.
Probably. It's like, we're still shitting on something like, I don't know, Godzilla versus Megaguirus. We're not still shitting on that, and that's a bad movie. And
like, I mean, aside from today, you and I don't really dunk on King of the Monsters all that much.
No, not really.
Show. You know why? Because it doesn't personally affect us.
Exactly.
Like,
and it shouldn't personally affect... 1998 shouldn't have personally affect anyone.
It doesn't feel like, Godzilla King of the Monsters walked into my room and kneecapped me. Like, I'm fine. It was not good. I didn't like it. But I'm not going to cry in my bed about it and make low effort content on Reddit only to have a bunch of people clap their hands at me. I don't know. It's such
I
a
hate
dumb
it. I
thing.
really
And
hate
again,
it.
I want to reiterate that like, people have opinions and they can hate stuff or like it or whatever. One, if someone does like it, do not attack them.
Hmm.
Just don't. I know people who like 98, and
I'm one
like
of
I have
them.
nothing against. Yeah, I have nothing against them. Like, good for you. All, all, that's good. I'm happy because like it's people getting enjoyment out of stuff,
Hmm.
and like for people who really like Godzilla King of the Monsters, like that's good. I'm glad they liked it. I didn't like it. We'll talk about why the fan reception to the movie is
Yeah.
annoying, but that's for the later topic.
Hmm.
But like continuously making these like really obnoxious comparisons really doesn't do anything.
Again,
If anything, I think it brings
23
down
years
all
later
of
too.
here's my thing.
Yeah.
Making these dumb comparisons brings down all of the American movies for me.
Mm.
It brings them all down. I think it makes them worse. Do you know why? Because it turns it into a stupid competition. They're
Yeah,
literally
it
just
does.
movies that you like or you don't. It's not real life. It doesn't matter.
Hmm.
That's it. And none of them have any deeper meaning. The American ones I'm talking about. So there's literally nothing to get upset
Yeah.
about. Arguably, Godzilla 2014 maybe has some messaging, but that's it.
Yeah.
None of them. And you don't hear anyone say shit about Godzilla 2014 other than how much they don't like the characters.
And the fact that Godzilla has no screen time.
It's no screen time. It didn't seem enough.
Brian, I have a I have a
Okay.
question. This just kind of popped into my head. Do you think at some point Godzilla 1998 will go the route of the Star Wars prequels, where
I
people
think
like?
I think it's already on its way.
Okay.
I think I've seen, contrary to this topic that right now, I have seen generally a lot more acceptance of it
Okay.
recently.
Out of curiosity.
Compared to like 5 years ago,
Hmm.
in comparison, I've seen more. So I think it's on its way. I think time is the main deciding factor here.
Yeah.
I think eventually people will grow on it as they grow up. Saying that
Out
with
of curiosity,
some shade.
did you see Vrano's new video on it?
No.
Um, I'm not gonna. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna have you watch it like we did the Godzilla versus Hedorah short, but I'll tell you the title of the video. So he made it for to celebrate the 67th anniversary of Godzilla, but because just for shits and giggles, he made a Godzilla 1998 short, and he called it Chin Godzilla.
Oh, hell yeah. That's
So
a great title.
I'll let your imagination run wild there.
I like it.
I'll send it to you after we're done recording. It's a really good video. But yeah, I think that's about all I have to say. Just shut the fuck up about Godzilla 98. I'm so tired of it now.
Make some better posts.
Honestly.
Also, like, I enjoy talking about this, but like when you make memes like that, it doesn't, they're cringy as hell.
Yes.
And it doesn't actually inspire any conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a place for people to go to dunk on a not very hot take.
Yes.
Like it's literally just a circle jerk.
Mm-hmm. Which is a lot of Reddit, honestly, but
I mean, it is. And that's why my favorite subreddits have the word circle jerk in them.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean that's all we've got to say on the topic. Again, we're not attacking anyone who likes or dislikes these movies. It's more just the discourse around them that's just so obnoxious.
Well, Brian, is it time?
I think it is.
All right. How do we want to do this, Brian?
I don't know. I actually wanted to start this conversation about this movie, about the things that I do like about it.
I think that's a very good idea.
Because I watched this movie on Sunday, so yesterday, and I said I was going to take notes. I literally could not take notes.
Okay.
But I did keep in mind the stuff that I did like,
Hmm.
and so I want to just list them off a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I want to stress that, like, there is stuff we like about this, stuff we love about this film.
yeah. And I also want to put this out there that Dave and I were very excited about this movie.
Yes.
We
I mean,
were
how could we not be?
we were very excited about this movie, and leading up, because one, we like the director's work.
Hmm.
Michael Dougherty. He's done some really good movies. He did Krampus. He did Trick or Treat. I love both those movies.
So do I.
And he was a giant Godzilla fan, and we were really psyched. And he there is some stuff in this movie that I like, and I wanted to talk about it. So, I think the first thing I wanted to talk about that I still like about it, that I think is basically undisputed, is that this may have one of my favorite Godzilla soundtracks.
Mm.
Recent years ish. I don't know. For me, not of all time, not at all. But I really like the music is really dope in this movie. Um, I like it.
Yeah, I'm kind of biased.
Yeah,
What were you saying?
I said all Bear McCreary's work is like really good.
Yeah, like
and
I'm very
this is a
biased
good
because
example.
I love Bear McCreary as a composer. I've been a fan of his since, Agents of Shield back in 2013 or wherever that show started. And then, I played God of War and I'm like, wow, this is like the greatest video game score I've ever heard.
Yep.
And then it was announced that he was doing the music for Godzilla. I'm like, all right, I can get behind this. Especially considering that when they announced that he was going to be doing the score, Doherty also said, yeah, we got the rights to use Ifukube stuff. And I'm like, okay, good on you. Good on you.
Yeah. So like on that angle, I think this movie succeeds. I think the sound is really good.
Yeah.
And I think the soundtrack is really good. I've listened to it on its own more times than I've watched the movie.
I think same here.
I really like some standouts for me, and basically all of it, but like all of the main monster themes are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Rodan's for me is
I think the consensus
rest.
for a lot of people is that Rodan's theme fucking slaps.
It does slap. Ghidorah's theme was really good.
I have Ghidorah's theme stuck in my head right now as I speak.
Ghidorah's theme is really, really solid. I really like it. Even the track that plays right at the beginning of the movie that like really kind of brings you in. It's the Memories of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's a really good piece of music. Like all of the music and sound work, really good. I have no complaints. And I think it's still gonna, I think it's there's no way it's ever gonna get old to me, because this is all really well produced music.
Yeah. And
I
like
used well in the movie.
Yeah.
Well.
I think we talked about this briefly when we did Godzilla Singular Point, talking about the use of Ifukube's works in movies, now that he's passed away back in 2004 or whatever, but they're still using his themes because they're so intrinsically linked with the franchise. What I like about King of the Monsters is that he doesn't just kind of rip it directly. He puts his own spin on it, especially with Godzilla's theme. That chanting, like that's really really cool stuff.
All of the tracks has guttural chanting in it. And it like meshes really well with all of the returning in new pieces of music.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I really like. It's obvious that Bear understood that you can bring old music in, but you should be transformative with it instead of just ripping it and putting it in.
Yeah.
Because it is jarring to hear a 60-something-year-old piece of music used in a modern movie. It's jarring. And what he did was he took that music and he changed it.
He modernized it. Yeah.
It's still there.
It's still recognizable as that specific motif.
Yeah. and it's I think it's a great take on it, and I really liked it. And I'm sure there's people out there who are just like, oh, you ruined it. It's not the same. But I think that's wrong. I think all of the music in here is just so good,
It really
and
is. Yeah.
all the work. He put a lot of effort into this. I remember,
Yeah, because
like
Bear himself is also a big Godzilla fan.
yeah. I remember there was like an interview with him, and he was like super fucking psyched that he got put onto this project.
Yeah, and
And I was like, how could
honestly,
you not be?
yeah, exactly. Like honestly, good for him, and the fact that he knocked it out of the park this hard is like,
Yeah,
honestly, it's incredible. But
yeah,
yeah, I want to stress that like you said, like not it's not just the pieces that use old motifs like like Ifugabe's Godzilla theme and Yuji Kaseki's Mothra theme. Like Rodan and Ghidorah's themes slap hard. I know one people really like is the Key to Coexistence, which is what plays when Serizawa is going out to sacrifice himself to save Godzilla. Like that piece of music is incredible, and that's kind of this point in the movie where I heard and I'm like, oh, there it is, there's that God of War influence.
yeah, yeah. You can actually hear a lot of that in
Yeah.
some of the I don't want to call them ambient tracks, but some of the
Mm.
more background music. You can kind of make that out,
Yeah.
which is fine with me because God of War's soundtrack is incredible.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah.
And I think it's
Mondo
more,
restocked
think
the vinyl, and I bought it up immediately because I'm like, I need the.
Oh, good, good, yeah, yeah. Is he returning for God of War Ragnarok?
Yes, he is.
He is. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
As it should be.
Yeah. So the music, that's the first thing that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
I could say that the CG is good, but I mean, it's a multi-million dollar.
Yeah, I will say, like, the visuals in general, like when they're not bogged down by rain or other particle effects, they actually are very appealing. Like there are some really cool shots in there. Like I love the shot. A lot of people love that shot of Godzilla and Ghidorah facing off in Antarctica because it is a really what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it, but it's very cool, like to see them because we haven't really seen Godzilla and Ghidorah this Ghidorah together since GMK, and even then Ghidorah was kind of scaled down because he was not supposed to be as big as Godzilla in that film. So I love that shot. Obviously the shot everyone really loves is Ghidorah on the volcano in Isla de Mara.
Yep.
Which I gotta say, I don't know if you'll feel the same, but that alpha call Ghidorah does in that scene, I could listen to that for hours on end. It sounds so fucking cool.
Well, I was gonna say that like on top of the music, like the sound work with roars and like the noises that the monsters make are all really good, and Ghidorah was a standout for me watching this again.
I'm kind of torn on it personally.
The noises he makes are all really good. I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn on the sound design personally because like
some
half of it's really good,
me.
half of it's not so good. Like I really do not like the fact that they just interspersed classic Godzilla roars in there. It does not sound correct.
Yeah, that's what I was actually going to bring that up.
And I think I will talk about that in the negative aspects. And then Rodan's roar sounds nothing like the classic roar, which is very weird because because Rodan's look especially is like the best he's looked since 1956, I think.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that like I think Rodan's classic roar or his his Toho roar is one of my favorite ever, and the fact that they didn't use it at all,
like I had to listen to them both side by side like 5 times before I heard, oh yeah, kind of.
If you squint your ears, maybe.
And it's weird because Doherty said like Rodan's his favorite, so I don't know why the roar was so different.
I mean, in the movie, Rodan's my favorite of all the monsters, and I mean, not this one. Like, But I mean, I do like Rodan in this movie.
Yeah,
But
I think like
his fan
Rodan's
work, I didn't like.
I think Rodan's awakening, like in its entirety, is like one of the best set pieces in the film.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
my favorite shot of the movie is him flying over and seeing his shadow cast.
yeah,
I think that's one of my favorite. I think it is my favorite shot of the movie because it is very. It's a very Showa era shot.
Well, yeah, because they lifted that
guess.
that like hurricane force wind ability straight from the original Rodan from
Yeah,
56.
it's a shot that like I could see in in an original an older film.
Yeah.
I like that stuff. Anything that I can see from that's been kind of like taken from the originals, I really liked. So yeah, I mean with like the cinematography was mostly really good.
Yeah,
I have some negatives.
I know a lot
about
of people
it.
don't really like the color grading in the film. I do. It's like I know a lot of films tend to be kind of blue sometimes, but like I think this movie kind of utilizes it pretty well. Because like,
I know what they were trying to
it's
do.
kind of
with
thematically relevant because Godzilla's got the blue atomic breath and all that. So I like it.
Yeah, I mean, here's my take. I'm not really a fan of it. I think it kind of hurts my eyes. But I know what the intent behind it was. Like, you have the color in the movie is supposed to coincide with whichever monster is the main centerpiece of whatever scene. So like when you have Ghidorah on screen, or if he's present, you're going to have a lot of yellows and and stuff like that. And then when Godzilla's on screen, you have a lot of blues. And Mothra is kind of blue as well, but more like lighter colors.
Yeah.
And then Rodan is red, obviously. Like I get it, but I mean it doesn't. It fits thematically, but it doesn't always look great.
I think
sometimes it just flat out hurts my eyes.
That's fair. I mean, I think it looks better than like a lot of other blockbusters, just like from based on visual aesthetics alone. Like once again, based on visual aesthetics alone, I would probably take King of the Monsters over whatever new Marvel movies coming out because those tend to look really flat and gray and brown.
Yeah, it's better than the black gray, like like non-fantastical cinematography that makes everything look real, quote unquote. Apparently, real life is brown and gray. But yeah, for me, it's not always a hit. Some of it, I mean, sometimes it all just comes together and it looks great, but there are parts in the movie that don't do it for me.
Yeah,
in terms of the colors. I mean, if you're done talking about that, I add like a couple other positives.
Yeah, go for it.
I think generally the monster designs are pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know if they're my favorites.
I'll say this much. I think if it weren't for like if Godzilla the Planet Eater, which is the third film in the Polygon trilogy, if that film didn't exist, this would probably be my favorite version of Ghidorah. Like I think like the way his character is really interesting because like we've never really had like a character for Ghidorah in the past, I feel.
Yeah. I think the personalities
Thank
given.
you. That's I don't know why I couldn't think of the word.
The personalities given to especially Ghidorah, but the other monsters as well is really good and I think welcomed. I think it gets a little bit ridiculous later on. But we'll talk about that.
Okay.
But I have some thoughts. But anyways, I think the personalities given, especially with using like facial captures for Ghidorah specifically. I think that all lends a lot of that creates a very tangible personality for the monsters. I think that's really good instead of just making them purely
animals. Yeah.
So yeah, I think in that department, I think the movie's pretty good. Again, I say these, but it's kind of hard to fuck it up. Like, I'm not saying that to bring down anyone's work on the movie, but like you're given a multi-million-dollar budget and you
Hmm.
have a Godzilla fan as the director. So I really don't think it's I think it would have been very hard to miss on this. At
Yeah.
least miss entirely. Like there are some misses for me in terms of design choices, but like they're not the worst possible miss,
Hmm.
you know. It's not catastrophic. Uh, at least that part isn't catastrophic. And I think the last thing I wanted to talk about was Sarazawa's death scene is pretty good.
It is. Like, aside from the connotations it has, which we'll get to in the negative aspects, I think the scene itself is done really, really well. Like, I get what they were going for. They were going for, they were kind of flipping the ending of the original film on its head, where Serizawa sacrifices himself to kill Godzilla, but now he's sacrificing himself to save Godzilla. I do like that aspect. It's just the way they went about it, which we'll get to.
Yeah, that's I think if you removed the nuke aspect,
Mhm.
it would have landed
Way,
so
way
much
more.
better.
Yeah. And again, this is helped in no small part by McCreary's score. Like, Goodbye Old Friend is another one that people love from
Well,
the
that's the
score.
thing is when that scene was playing and the music was going, like I had a little tear go down my face,
Yeah.
and I was thinking, wait, I hate this movie. What the fuck?
Hold on. This isn't
And
how
then
I'm
I was
supposed to
like,
feel.
And then I was like, oh wait, this scene is like actually good, and the music is like actually good,
Hmm.
and like this like speaks to me as like a fan of the original, and it's kind of just like flipping the original climate or the original end of the 54 film. But regardless, I think that scene is probably the most well done from like a film perspective
Yeah.
in the movie. And actually, I had one more thing
Okay.
that I
All
wanted
right.
to say. I think the beginning of the movie is a really good hook
Oh, like
in
Mothra's
terms of
Awakening?
yes.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think I think that like the beginning of the movie and the characters that it gives you, it's a great hook. You have a family that's broken, you have a dad who's broken and whatever, and then you have you have I don't remember the main characters' names because I'm terrible.
Emma
Uh, Emma and whoever,
Madison.
and there were Emma and Madison. They're working with Mothra. I think the opening to this movie, especially with the opening in San Francisco, I think it has a really strong start. It does
Hmm.
not keep it for very long, but it does have a strong start. It does. But as soon as you meet more of the characters, it loses it for me.
Hmm. I
So
want to mention one thing that I really like. It's kind
okay.
of a shit post, but it never fails to make me laugh when I watch this movie. It's
Okay.
it's later in the movie, after Madison is taken. It's the orca, right? That's the thing they use to call the monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. When
Yes.
Madison takes the orca to Fenway and Emma's going after her, and she's packing up the truck, and Alan Jonah, Charles Dance's character, comes up, and he says, "What do you think you're doing?" But it's the way he says the line. It's his delivery that never. It's such an incredible delivery, and I don't know why he did it. He was like, "What do you think you're doing?"
Yeah, I know exactly
I
what
don't
you're
know
talking
why
about.
it makes me laugh so hard, but it's such a great
He's
cheesy delivery, and I love it.
he's he's enjoying it.
He really
At least
is.
at least someone is.
It's such a great delivery. In a
Yeah, that
movie
was
in a
pretty
movie
good.
filled with interesting line delivery, that's one of the best ones.
Interesting is a nice way to put it.
Uh,
Well, I
okay.
think for that I wanted to segue to the
Yeah,
bad.
that's a good segue. Go for it.
Um, I this okay. This movie is the epitome of the characters ruin this movie for
Mm-hmm.
me.
Yeah, their characters in this
they
kind of
take
fucking
it
suck.
and they bury this movie in the ground. They are the single most destructive force in this movie in terms of my enjoyment.
And this is a movie about giant monsters destroying cities.
I don't know who wrote the script. I don't know.
That would be Michael
But
Dougherty.
Everyone in this movie is either a scientist or an army man. And all of them are so fucking incompetent at everything. And whenever anyone asks for anything, they go, you have another character who goes, "Why?" or something. So that leads the other character to go on an exposition dump that lasts 2 minutes. And this happens over and over and over again.
Yes.
And it's so aggravating because you don't need all of this goddamn exposition. And there are exposition pieces about the same goddamn thing over and over again. It's awful. I don't know why this is in the movie. I really don't. Because you don't need it. You don't need any of this. You don't need it. However, the worst character. Oh my god.
Oh man.
The worst character. I don't even remember
Stanton.
his fucking
Rick
name.
Stanton.
Yes, he is literally a character that you can absolutely tell he was modeled after the hit character Rick from Rick and Morty. He is so goddamn annoying because this is like the stakes in this movie are literally apocalyptic.
They are.
And he makes the lamest, worst jokes ever. This is the least funny character I have seen in fucking anything.
Yeah, the movie goes really hard into trying to pull off Marvel humor, which already was feeling very exhausting by that point. So
this is the worst humor Marvel has to offer up to 11.
Yeah.
It is so trite and boring and just unfunny, and it ruins this movie.
I love that joke he makes about, like, you know, oh, give him a little Sarazawa, let him fight action. Used to love it when he said that. It's like, he said that once, and you weren't even there.
To a person, to one guy. He said it to one guy. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. So, okay. I got really mad right there.
You did. That was really entertaining.
So, like, I said, one of the things that I said was that, you know, this movie has a really strong start, and the characters that it gives you right off the bat are good. I really like stories that center around a family, especially one that's broken. Do you know why? Because it's really something that people can get invested in.
Yeah.
People have
it's something a lot of people connect with
all the time. And yeah, it's something people can connect with. But as soon as they start introducing more people, more characters, and then you get more of these lines, and it just gets to become so overwhelming and lame. It's awful. Like, it's like a cliff. It drops off at a certain point.
Yeah.
Where you have a pretty good set amount of characters, and you're just like, okay, their line delivery is not good, but at least I get who they are. Like, at least I understand them, and they're interesting. And, like, you know, they're not played very, very well, but, you know, whatever. They're definitely not written well, for one. But yeah, as soon as you get to, I mean, as soon as they go to, they pick up the dad. I don't know what
Mark.
his name was. Mark. As soon as they pick him up and bring him to the Castle Bravo base, it's all over.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. That's when the movie takes a gigantic nosedive.
Yeah.
In terms of enjoyability. Again, the characters ruin this
There
movie.
are arguably 3 decent characters, and 2 of them die in the film.
Yep.
One of which
them dies in the worst fucking way.
It's not that it's a bad way to die. It's that it's such a blink and you miss it moment. For a character that was like pretty.
The first time.
So did I. I blinked and I missed it in this viewing.
Yeah. If you don't know who we're talking about, it's what's her face?
Graham.
God. Yeah. She was. I thought she was really good in Godzilla 2014.
She was
cool.
She's a phenomenal actress.
Yeah, and then in this movie, she just gets eaten out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It lasts like a quarter of a second, and you're just like, wow. There was no lead up to that or anything. She screams and then she gets picked up by Ghidorah's mouth.
It feels very similar to how Pacific Rim Uprising treated Mako Mori.
Yeah, oh my god, it does.
I only just had that thought a second ago.
Yeah, and both of those deaths fucking sucked ass.
They did.
They ruined the movie.
They did.
Yeah, I mean, Mako specifically was like a criminal decision in that movie.
It really was. Because she was the main character of the first movie.
The only person I gave a single fuck about in the first movie was Mako.
Whoa. Slow your roll there, Brian.
I mean, I actually cared for as a character. I mean, I'm sure there were a couple, whatever. But I actually cared about what happened.
Okay, all right. I guess I'll take that.
Hey, all right. Fine. All right. Okay. Anyways, characters. Yeah, that's my tirade. I'm done with that. I actually, here's the thing. I actually don't understand how people can enjoy this movie.
Well, here's the thing, because they make the argument of like, oh, no one cares about the characters. We're only here for the monsters, which we've talked about.
This movie should be a prime example of why that is not true.
It absolutely should be, and it is, considering the critical response.
This movie has really cool action set pieces with the monsters, and I cannot fucking stand the characters so much that it ruins those scenes.
Mm-hmm.
It ruins them. I don't enjoy the monster fights because it takes so much effort to get through the human scenes.
Yeah.
That by the time we get to any fight between Godzilla and Ghidorah, it doesn't matter because I'm just bored. You know, there's other stuff that we'll talk about later in terms of the monster fights, but like the you know, for all intents and purposes, the monster fights, they're done well. But when we get to them, for one, it keeps cutting back to the human characters, and it's always terrible discourse. It's always terrible lines.
Yeah, Sarazawa's got that lizard juiced.
Yeah, that fucking line made me roll my eyes so hard.
I love that delivery too, though.
He just died.
He did literally just die. You just heard that he died like 20 minutes ago, and you're making jokes about it.
Oh my god!
It's gonna be a bad day to be a Red Sox fan.
Oh my god. Okay.
All right, hold on. We have not mentioned the worst joke in the movie.
Yeah. As soon as it happened, I rolled over.
I hope we're talking about the same joke.
Is it the gonorrhea joke?
It's the gonorrhea joke.
It's the gonorrhea joke. Yep.
Cause listen, like Ghidorah and gonorrhea sound nothing alike.
Yep.
So why does what is his name? Sam? I think it's Sam. Why does Sam think Chen said gonorrhea? They don't sound alike. It was just to be a haha funny, but it's not funny.
Let me get the name of an STI or whatever.
Yeah, ha ha ha. STIs are so funny.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
Especially gonorrhea.
It is like such juvenile humor that it's like insulting to watch.
It's bad.
It's insulting. Yeah. I remember rolling my eyes at that joke in the theater.
Oh yeah, that one pissed me off.
That one was bad. Okay.
Emma's plan is fucking insane. Like even by evil movie villain standards, it's like fucking Thanos' plan in Infinity War, but way less thought out.
Yeah,
it's so
honestly,
stupid.
It would have been better if she was just like a fucking idiot and she was just like, big monsters are cool.
Yeah, I want to say that there was in an early cut of the film, like she survives at the end, but people hated her so much that they didn't like that she survived, so they changed the script to kill her off in the end.
I mean, with her absolutely terrible plan and like reasoning behind everything, I mean, I get it.
I mean, I would have liked to had that happened. I would have liked to see like how that fallout, you know, happens in like Godzilla versus Kong. Like Mark and Madison have to deal with the fact that, you know, their wife and mother respectively is, you know, almost caused the world to end, and they have to deal with that. But that would have been too big of a commitment. It would have been too big a commitment, unfortunately.
Yeah, because then they wouldn't have been able to show crazy podcast man and Madison and her friend sneaking into a facility.
That's true.
Yeah.
Should we get into the big thing, Brian?
Before we do that, I just want to stress about how bad the exposition dumps are.
Okay.
I know I mentioned it.
Yeah.
When I was talking
but you didn't. Yeah, you didn't go like into it, like give any examples.
Yeah, but these movies, like people generally have an idea of the backstory of these monsters. Everyone knows that the original origin of Ghidorah was he's a space monster. He comes from space. I don't know whose fucking idea this was, but they literally just look this shit up on the internet and figure out where Ghidorah is from in like 30 seconds. It's like a Google search in like a bad horror movie. I just don't like. They're just like, I found this real fast. Like the guy, it says here that like Ghidorah like fell from the stars or whatever. It's like, what? You guys have been researching this shit for fucking like ever, and you just found this now? And that's probably the worst one. Like it's literally a scene just there to make it known that he's from space. Which
I do like the fact that they brought that origin back. I'll give them that.
I like it too, but you could have done it in any number of more interesting ways. Like you could have made his awakening in like an impact crater or something that visually displays that he literally fell from the sky or something.
Yeah.
Something interesting. You know, and like I get it. It's hard work to do that, to do visual storytelling, but exposition dumps like this do not help the movie. They are aggravating because I am listening to people talk at me. It sucks. And it happens so often. Like, for anyone who goes to watch this movie after this, pay attention to how often characters stop themselves and talk about a monster or something and like tell you every fact you need to know. And just count it on your hands. You're going to run out of fingers. It happens so much and it rips me out of the movie and it sucks.
And you know what the weird thing is?
Sucks.
They do this for Godzilla, Rodan, and Ghidorah, but they don't talk about Mothra at all. In fact, Mothra is criminally underutilized in this movie. She's barely in it. She barely has a presence. Yep. She's literally only there to save Godzilla at the end.
Yep.
Which is a shame because I love the Mothra design in this.
She's a plot device in this movie.
She is. Which, you know, I guess you could make the argument like, oh, women are plot devices, which that's a thing.
A shitty thing to say.
I mean, yeah, but like that's a thing it's a problem in movies today. It's not like I'm
That's
just pulling this
fair.
out of my ass.
No, I know you're not. I'm just. It's a shitty thing for someone to make that argument to make it okay.
Yeah.
It's bad.
But the fact that it carries over to giant monsters and not just humans is fucking stupid. Especially because it's Mothra. Mothra is like this again. This is the big four of Toho. This is their big four characters, and you delegate one to a plot device.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
Yeah, and especially Mothra is in some of the most stunning shots in this movie with Mothra, and like they're just not. It's just a shame that she's not used more.
Yeah,
because I feel like why not? And if these movies carry on, she'll be back. She will be.
I mean, they had the little teaser in the credits that's like, oh, Mothra egg found.
Yeah, and well, let's be real. Mothra dies at the end of every movie, anyways. But come on, come on.
You could have done it better.
Just because it's a rule doesn't mean you have to follow it.
No.
Anyways, yeah. So that the exposition is.
And she doesn't even die in every movie. She didn't die in Godzilla versus Mothra, the '90s one.
That's true.
She flew off into space.
Yeah.
To do God knows what.
To become Space Moth.
Space Moth.
Yeah, she flew towards the sun. Oh my god, that's so upsetting. Oh my god, that's my new headcanon.
She flew into the sun.
She flew off into the sun.
All right.
Because it's like a lamp.
Oh my god.
It's the great lamp. Oh god. I'm bringing on angry moth lamp memes from 2 years ago now.
2? It was a little more than 2, Brian.
2, 3. They had a revival.
That's true.
Not long ago. I think they got revived because of this movie.
I think you're right. Yeah, because Mothra, they gave Mothra that God rays ability, and people were like, "Oh, now Moth has become Lamp."
Yeah,
which I did find that kind of funny. Those memes, I like that.
It was pretty funny. There was a lot of memes that came out because of this movie that were funny. Anyways. Okay,
this is totally off topic. Real quick, I forgot to mention this. The fact that they gave Ghidorah a Hydra ability to regrow his head is fucking awesome. I loved that. Yeah. That was so fucking cool.
Well, I really enjoy Ghidorah in this movie as a whole. I really like how he's got different personalities per head and stuff. You don't really get that in the older. You don't get that at all in the older movies. Yeah. But I think that was a very good addition. And it is actually something that was expanded on in, Godzilla vs. Kong, if you could read it between the lines.
Yes.
Which I like.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of my favorite things about that movie, even though it was criminally underutilized.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, good. Yeah, that aspect of him in this movie was really cool.
Yeah.
I like all of the. They gave him a very snake-like, design that I thought was really cool. I really like that.
Yeah.
Especially the scene where near the end of the movie where he slams all of his
he slithers for seemingly no reason.
I was like, damn, that's creepy. He's fucking he's fucking evil.
He is. That's why I said if it weren't for the Planet Eater, this would be my favorite iteration of Ghidorah because he's such an interesting character.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about Planet Eater someday because I like that iteration of Ghidorah too.
Yeah,
very ethereal, almost Evangelion angel like kind of design.
Oh, one more thing before we get into the behemoth in the room.
The behemoth. Yep.
Burning Godzilla.
Oh,
that's a thing in this movie. I
have my thoughts about this.
I don't understand the reasoning behind it. Because here's the thing. The original version of Burning Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Destoroyah, it's a bad thing. Godzilla's dying. He's absorbed too much radiation, much like he does in this movie, but it's too much for his body to take, so his body literally starts to melt. And it's treated as an apocalyptic thing because when his body melts, it's going to spread all this radiation across the entirety of Japan.
But then in this movie, it was treated
as just like a power-up, like a Super Saiyan-style power-up.
And then you have the whole, it's a bad day to be a Red Sox fan joke. Meanwhile, completely, you know, and this has to do with the big problem in this movie, but the whole nuke, like radiation, like Godzilla fucking blowing up, that's not treated with any kind of weight at all.
I just realized that, yeah, like they don't mention the fact that Boston's
literally
just a fallout zone now.
Boston is literally going to be a nuclear zone.
Yeah, it is no longer inhabitable.
And you're gonna make a fucking Red Sox joke.
Yes.
People are literally not going to be able to return to Boston for thousands of years.
Yes.
And you're going to make that kind of joke.
Yes.
Like, Godzilla vs. Destroyer, I don't really, you know, that movie, not my favorite, to say the least.
No.
But the end of the movie where Godzilla melts down, like, you know, burning Godzilla is the end of Godzilla's progression.
Yes.
It is the end. He reaches burning when he dies.
Yes.
And if he dies, and if it wasn't for, you know, the Japanese military, was it G-Force in that movie or
it was G-Force starting with Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2.
Yeah, if it wasn't for them, he would have taken the world with him.
Yeah.
And it was very symbolic that was very symbolic for a reason. In this, it was literally just a plot device for him to beat Ghidorah in 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Which is a problem in its own right because, like, Godzilla needed to have some kind of cool power-up to beat the big bad. Like, that's not very interesting.
Because Godzilla got his fucking ass beat until he caught on fire.
Exactly. Like, I would have, like, I mean, yeah, that happens in a lot of the other movies, too, but he doesn't need, like, a power-up to end up winning the day, you know?
He wins. Godzilla almost always wins because he is fucking resilient.
Exactly. He wins by sheer force of will.
Because he beats other monsters by literally eating punches until the other ones get tired.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Doherty said that, like, had it not been, oh god, I forgot to mention this too. Had it not been for the oxygen destroyer, Godzilla would have killed Ghidorah in the water there. So let's talk about the oxygen destroyer real quick.
Why is that in the movie?
Because Easter eggs, Brian. Easter eggs.
It is introduced 5 seconds before it's used. Literally really 5 seconds before it's used. It is also so goddamn fucking tone deaf.
Yeah. So here's the thing for people who are still kind of new to the franchise. So the oxygen destroyer is carried over from the original 1954 Godzilla, where it was a stand-in for, you know, super weapons in general. What happens in the film is that Dr. Serizawa, Daisuke Serizawa, not Ishiro from this film, Serizawa develops this weapon, but it's so terrible. He is terrified of what would happen if it fell into the wrong hands. He uses it to kill Godzilla, and he takes his own life at the end of the film. He burns his notes, takes his life, so no one can ever use the oxygen destroyer as a force for, you know, killing people.
Yep.
Which, you know, that's a whole thing that we will cover when we talk about the original Godzilla at some point. But in this movie, it's just big bomb.
It's literally a reverse nuke.
Yeah. And the thing is,
and the explosion goes backwards.
It doesn't even, like, do anything interesting. They don't explain what it is. They just call it the oxygen destroyer because it's an Easter egg.
And it doesn't even, like, it doesn't even, for one, it doesn't kill Godzilla and it doesn't kill Ghidorah.
It doesn't
do anything.
I mean, it doesn't kill Ghidorah for a reason. because he's
It's
an alien.
literally a bomb. You could have called it a fucking cruise missile, and
You
it would
literally
be fine.
could have. It has absolutely calling it the oxygen destroyer has no impact on the plot whatsoever. It doesn't even get brought up again until the after credits scene. And even then, that doesn't get expanded upon in Godzilla vs. Kong, so there's no reason to even have it in the first place.
Yeah. And again, like the oxygen destroyer was a stand-in for nukes essentially,
Yes.
which is contentious when you use them this way.
Yes.
It's not supposed to be. At the end of the movie, at the end of the original Godzilla, when Serizawa uses it, it is a very emotionally charged scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad. It is a man committing suicide with a weapon that is goddamn terrifying to kill one thing. It's sad. In this, it is literally a bomb. Fuck off. And I think this really speaks to the over-reliance to a fault of Easter eggs in this movie.
Yes. Actually,
Michael Dougherty, for as...
Hold on. I think talking about the oxygen destroyer being used in this way is a good segue.
Okay, we're going to talk about the big thing.
We're going to talk about the big thing.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
Okay, everyone. Time for a small history lesson that you basically just heard, but I'm going to say it again. As I said before, the original 1954 Godzilla was made as a cautionary tale against the use of nuclear weapons because this was a Japanese film, the only country to have nuclear weapons used on them. Twice. So naturally, they wanted they wanted to kind of direct those feelings into something creative, that's understandable. That's a thing everyone does.
Yeah.
So again, cautionary tale against the use of nuclear weapons. Bottom line, nuclear weapons are a big no-no.
Yep.
So
that is the most baseline understanding you can get from the first movie.
That is what the franchise was built on.
Yep.
It is not the only thing the franchise has been about, but it has been what multiple films have been about. It has been that's what Godzilla vs. Megalon was about. That's what the Return of Godzilla was about. It's what Shin Godzilla was about.
It's a very consistent thing.
Yes. So, what do we do when we bring a Japanese character built on the use of nuclear weapons over to America, the country that used the nuclear weapons? What do we do, everyone? We decide to use nuclear weapons for good. As a means to revive the character that in the original film existed because of nuclear weapons. Who thought this was a good idea?
Dude, I don't know.
Michael Dougherty says he's a fan. How did this not occur to him?
Also, the fact that Serizawa was the one who was like, okay, yes, let's use this nuke. What?
He's the one in the 2014. He's got the stopwatch that his dad had that stopped when the bomb dropped.
Yeah. And he had the same watch in this movie, which he
right
then
before
made a joke about.
before he did it too.
Yeah. One of the lines in this movie, and I noticed it, and it pissed me off even more, was that right before this scene, he said it's time to get a new watch.
Yes.
And I was like, wait. Like that line on its own doesn't mean anything, but when you then have him blow himself up with a nuke. I'm like, oh,
That line didn't bother me because it's Mark said like, oh, it's Andrew's favorite joke. He always asked that when you had it out.
so fucking stupid though.
It is, but it's not it's not the most problematic thing about that.
It's problematic to me because it's a memento to remember a family member who died.
No, I don't think
Or not
he
died,
died,
but
he
or
didn't die.
who was greatly affected by
Yeah.
a nuke. You know, like it's a personal memento. That's a bad joke to me.
Mm-hmm.
For at least Sarazawa to make himself.
Yeah. I just I cannot fathom.
It just feels
how
super
this-
mean spirited.
It's not really mean spirited, just incredibly tone deaf. Yes.
Yeah.
And the worst part is this is not the only bad way nuclear energy is talked about in this film, because Emma's plan is to wake up all the monsters, let them do their thing, and then their radiation will heal the earth.
Oh my god.
Which is also very tone deaf. And the worst part about that is that Michael Dougherty doubled down on that.
Yeah.
Because you could make the argument that, oh, maybe it is just a tone deaf thing. But no. Michael Dougherty, he cites Chernobyl as an example of this happening, of radiation, of a highly irradiated zone still having life. Which, here's the thing. Yes, there is life in Chernobyl.
Doesn't last very long.
Well, there's that too. But everything living in Chernobyl is literally a mutant. Plants don't decay when they die in Chernobyl. They just stay there. That's not normal. That's not how that's not how life naturally ends.
Yeah.
So for him to double down on that, wow, Jesus,
that's real
fucking
bad.
Christ, man.
I think, well, because there's a big like misconception about Chernobyl where people are just like, oh, like with the like nature, like it's still there, like the trees, they're still there, and like there's still like animals and whatever. But but any amount of research into that shows that like animals have like horrible birth defects,
Yes,
and their
again,
lifespans,
they're mutants. They are literally mutants.
their lifespans are like a quarter of what they should be.
Yeah, it's not
And,
a
like,
good example.
And also the fact that you can't go anywhere near it without dying. You literally,
That's also a very important aspect.
There are parts of Chernobyl where if you are close enough to see it, you're gonna die of radiation.
Yes.
It's that bad. So I literally don't know where the fuck Michael Dougherty got this shit.
I don't know. I really don't.
I think it really has to do with misinformation on Chernobyl. I think there's a lot of it.
I hope I am praying that's the case. Because
Well, I've seen a lot of people say like this kind of bullshit before. But the fact this got into a movie that has been proofread by people, I can't believe it.
I should have asked
fine.
Jared if he wanted to get on this episode. He would have. Actually, no.
We'd be here all night.
We would be here all night, and we can't because we got to be out of here by 9 again. So that would not work.
So like
fucking Evangelion. This would be our longest episode. I guarantee it.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah. Wow. I am gonna chalk it up to misinformation.
Yeah.
And just the fact that it's just so prevalent with Chernobyl, it's just fucking terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been fine with her plan just being, like, I hate people. Let's 6 monsters on them.
Yeah,
Or
like
some
like
shit.
a generic supervillain movie plot, I wouldn't have minded that. You know, it's
Yeah.
not it's something we've seen in kaiju media before with something like King Kong Escapes or
Mhm.
even Ever a Horror of the Deep.
Mm-hmm.
I j-
Yeah.
I don't-
It is needlessly complicated for no reason, and it just ruins
it's
shit.
needlessly
And the
complicated
reasoning,
and insulting.
and also is factually incorrect, and
Yes.
antithesis to the entire series prior. So
Yeah. And
yeah,
God for
it's a gigantic middle finger.
yeah, God for fucking bid, you bring that aspect up to casual fans. I've gotten okay boomered on this take. I've been called the
I
R
saw that.
slur over this take.
I've seen people. I have seen the take, and it's just horribly insulting. I've seen people give the take that the Japanese need to get over being nuked, and I'm just like,
Wow, I have not seen that, but that's fucked up.
I've seen it before, and I
Holy
just
shit. All right. You guys know I hate to gatekeep, but if you're coming at us with that take, you do not deserve to be a Godzilla fan. I am not sorry
no,
for that. Get the fuck
no.
out of here with that bullshit.
I am pretty sure I saw that on Reddit.
Of course
Pretty
it was on
sure.
Reddit. Of course it was on Reddit. Where else would it
Um,
fucking be?
that being said, though, I haven't seen that sentiment very
That's good.
often.
Good.
I've seen it.
Let's
I have
keep
seen
it
it
that way.
definitely have seen it more than once, but not very much.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
yeah. So
Okay.
it's just exhausting.
This is a very exhausting movie.
This movie has created some really exhausting discourse.
It's exhausting, but it's a very frustrating movie because by all accounts we should love this movie, you
This
know?
movie should have been a slam
It
dunk.
should have been, but it just went terribly wrong. I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's the characters, the exposition, the absolute middle finger to the legacy of the series and the founding pillars it was built on.
Yeah.
I don't know how it all went wrong. I actually don't.
I don't know.
Um,
I guess no one gave anything a second thought. I guess that's the only thing I can
no,
think of.
and I think that this is the big problem with having a Godzilla fan direct a movie
Mm-hmm.
because some Godzilla fans just are kind of tone deaf.
Yeah.
Very tone deaf.
That's why you should give the next Godzilla movie to me.
That's why
I'll do a good job.
And I think I said this to you, all jokes aside, that my biggest problem with MonsterVerse in this movie specifically is that it is trying to be everything all at once.
Yes.
It's like every Godzilla movie at once.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't work. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
And the problem is that it's Hollywood, so it always feels the need to be so fucking mega about everything.
Right.
And I think I messaged you about this, and I said that like it's just so aggravating, where like Godzilla is just like in 2014, I said that he seemed like an animal,
Mm-hmm.
and like the less screen time of him, the better, in my opinion, because then he's more like mysterious. But in this movie, he's in it so often, and it feels like he is just written to be cool,
Yes.
and it's just not. It does the opposite.
Yeah.
And he's just they're
you
just like
said
he needs to be as powerful as possible, and it just doesn't fucking work.
no, because it's having someone be all powerful is not interesting.
It's not. And again, like we said, like Godzilla wins fights by eating punches, by just outlasting his opponent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it's always been. It just is. Ghidorah's usually always been more powerful than him, pound for pound at the start.
Yeah.
But then Godzilla just lasts longer. He just refuses to die. He's like Doom guy.
Yeah.
But in this movie, it's just like Godzilla's just like, he can do everything.
Yeah, which is lame.
It's
to say
so
the
lame.
least.
And then you just have people latch onto it and be like, oh, this Godzilla's so cool. He could do everything. and it's just I don't get it. Yeah,
I had something
that's
I was gonna say, and I can't. I lost my train of thought.
God damn it, terrible
I
host,
don't remember.
terrible host.
I'm trying to remember even like what my line of thinking was, and I'm having trouble. Fuck.
We're gonna mention the Goku problem.
No. I think it was something directly related to the movie, but I can't
Okay.
remember.
Hmm.
Oh well.
Well, that can be starting point.
Nah, it's fine. I don't really know what else to talk about the movie anymore. I think we've covered
Yeah,
all our bases.
I think we have. Yeah. Um. Yeah. So I mean, that's it for me. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just an exhausting movie.
it's very frustrating.
And again, I'm gonna go out and say, like, if you like this movie, I'm glad.
Yeah, more power to you.
More
Absolutely.
power to you that you can look past these flaws and you can enjoy it.
Just
But
please don't go attacking people who don't like it like people did to
yeah,
me.
yeah, people. There is a very large sect of people who fucking love this movie, and they will attack you if you don't.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably newer fans.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
And
that
hey,
I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but
uh
all the older fans that I know who have been with the series for a while, they're very welcoming.
yes. Here's this is more of a general piece of advice. If someone doesn't like a movie that you like, don't call them the R slur. That's fucked up.
Yeah, yeah,
Don't
that's
do that
fucking
in
terrible.
any context.
Yeah, yeah, it's
That's
pretty
that's
terrible,
all I have to say.
especially about a goddamn fucking movie.
Especially about a fucking movie about giant monsters. Like, come on,
Yeah,
grow up.
yeah, especially a bad one. uh,
Okay.
okay, well, I think that concludes our conversation on Godzilla King of
Yeah.
Monsters. There's really not a lot to talk about,
No,
like
I like I said,
anymore with
I think
it.
we've covered all our bases on this one.
But I feel like Dave and I owed a bit of an explanation as to why this movie just isn't it for us.
Yeah. And
Because
again,
we've done a lot of talking about it
yeah.
in the
And again,
past.
no, listen, no one is more disappointed that this movie was bad than us. We wanted to
Yeah.
like this movie. We wanted to
We
love this movie. This was the first
we
time we, as Western fans, were getting to see a big budget version of King Ghidorah and Mothra and
yeah.
Rodan. By all accounts, this should have been fucking incredible.
We waited with bated breath for the fucking trailers for this movie.
Yeah, and let me say, we didn't even mention this. The first trailer for this movie is a fucking masterpiece.
It
Holy
is
shit. It is like
better than the whole movie.
even if I wasn't a Godzilla fan, like that trailer's I saw everyone online being like, this is one of the greatest fucking trailers I've ever seen. Like I remember,
Yeah.
I think it was Ryan Johnson who said like, whoever put Claire de Lune in that Godzilla trailer deserves a fucking promotion.
Yeah. Honestly, I
It's a
agree.
fucking incredible trailer, and I wish that was the movie we had gotten.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. I think it could have gone in a lot of different directions and it just went in the worst possible one.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Yeah, I mean, like, we were both. I remember my initial reaction to this movie was good, and then the more I saw it, the worse I felt.
You know, I think thinking back to it, I think I may have been a little bit in denial when I first saw it.
Oh, I was absolutely in denial.
Cuz like I couldn't like I enjoyed it, but there was something about it that was nagging at me that I didn't like about it, but I could not for the life of me put my finger on why.
Well, I can tell you exactly when I realized internally that this movie was not good, and that's
Yeah.
when I had the urge to check my phone in the IMAX theater. I
Oh,
was like, because it was definitely with some of the exposition scenes, and I was like, I want to check my phone.
I want to take my
But then I
phone
didn't.
during this fucking Godzilla movie.
Yeah,
That's never a good
and
sign.
And then the more I saw it, the more I put together what I did not like about it. And
Mm.
then eventually I like, I think it was on the second or third viewing where I realized the big nuke problem.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
All right, we should cut this off now. We're gonna just keep going, and I don't want
Yeah.
to keep going.
It's like a Vietnam flashback.
It is, yeah.
That's our non flashbacks. Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone
Your grandpa fought in Nam. Dave and I
saw Godzilla King of the Monsters in
Godzilla
theaters.
King of the Monsters in IMAX.
I will say that the night itself was fun because we went with a big group of people.
And then we got food afterwards.
We did. Yeah. That was good food too.
Got some beers.
It was a good time. Yeah.
The night was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, the Godzilla fandom, the people are one of the biggest parts.
They're cool people.
Cool people.
All right. For fear of keeping on this topic, Brian, what new cool kaiju thing have you been checking out recently? And I know you actually have something for us this week.
I do. I am super excited to talk about it.
I'm excited to hear about it.
So, for anyone who didn't listen to the last episode, dare I say one of our best episodes.
Nice. I would say our best, period.
Yeah. I mentioned in that episode that I had ordered the Godzilla coffee. And I got it. And I can confirm it is pretty good. I have only had the Odo Island brew.
That's the dark roast, right?
It's the dark roast. Real good. I really liked it. I'm not really a coffee snob, so like I don't really have any buzzwords for you, but it was pretty good. Definitely the best coffee I have in my house at the moment.
Oh, okay.
I'd say it was well worth the money. I haven't tried the other ones, the Rodan or King Ghidorah one. Have not tried them, but I imagine they're pretty good.
All right.
So I recommend it. If you like coffee, give it a shot. I bought the $50 like 3-pack one, and I'd say it's probably worth it, depending on how fast you drink coffee. Because the bags are like not huge, but they're. I mean,
are they like typical? They're like the size of a typical bag of coffee grounds, basically.
Yeah, but now that I'm thinking about it, it actually probably is a pretty good value because they give you the coffee beans themselves that you have to mix, so it actually. I think might be worth.
I think you can buy like whole bean or ground.
I only got the option for the.
Oh, interesting. I could have sworn I saw that they had ground as well. Whatever.
Well, fuck me. I went out and I bought a coffee bean grinder for this specific purpose.
Well, there you go.
God damn it. Okay. Fine.
Oh, well.
But yes, it was real good. So I recommend it for sure.
Nice. That's good.
My next thing on the list is to try the Godzilla hot sauce.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
No, is it bad?
No, not that I tried it. I just because they got a bunch of them, and the Godzilla one, I gotta look it up because the name of it is metal as fuck. Hold on.
Oh, is it too hot?
Godzilla hot sauce. Godzilla Foods. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So the Godzilla one is called Doom Inevitable.
Hell yeah.
And let's see. The heat level is 11 with a triple hit of the 3 hottest peppers in the world. This smoky hot sauce is the king of all condiments.
Holy fucking shit.
It's Carolina Reaper, Trinidad Moruga Scorpion, and Ghost Pepper.
Oh my god, that's deadly.
Yes, it is.
Holy shit.
That one's also more expensive than the other ones. I wonder why.
God damn.
But the other one,
I get the one with they have one with Baby Godzilla.
They do. It's Kawaii Kaiju.
I want that one.
It's hold on, let's see.
I showed that bottle to Allie and she thought it was cute.
It's jalapeno serrano with roasted garlic, which actually sounds pretty good.
I mean,
it seems pretty basic for a hot sauce, but it sounds pretty good. One of them had like pineapple in it.
Well, I'm pretty basic, so
Was it the Mothra one that had pineapple? Yeah, Mothra is pineapple habanero, which sounds really interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know if that'd be
I
good
like it.
though.
Probably. I mean, maybe not for. Maybe if you use it mixing in something else. I don't know.
Yeah. You can get the other one that's hot but not as hot, which is the Rodan one.
Ooh,
It's
I
the
like me
fire
some
demon.
Rodan.
It's that one's just a Trinidad scorpion.
Hmm. Well, I don't know. I'll check it out. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna try all the rest of the coffees, and I'll give
Yeah, I'm
updates
very I'm very
as I
excited to hear
do.
about them.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
as for what I've been checking out, I just today I finished rereading Jeremy Robinson's Island 731, which was then retroactively folded into his Nemesis saga as kind of like book number 0. It's about this group of researchers on a boat, and then they get caught in a storm, and they wash up on an uncharted island that ends up being a secondary facility for Japan's Unit 731 project from World War II that dealt with really terrible human experimentation. And there's a bunch of weird monsters. Like it's kind of like a modern interpretation of like the island of Dr. Moreau. And it's
Damn.
really, really cool. I forgot how much I loved the book when I was reading it. I'm like, oh man, this is so good. I love this so much. And
Hmm.
I love it enough that it actually inspired me to start writing again, which I haven't written I
Wow.
haven't written anything in like well over 10 years probably. So
Dave, I
that's how
forgot
you
you even
know.
knew how to write.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
So
I don't think I've
yeah.
ever seen you write anything.
Yeah. So it's not really kaiju related. I mean, there's a character in the book named Kaiju who's
Interesting.
she's like a one of the various experiments in the book. She's like a hybrid of like a human, a panther, a turtle, a polar bear, and she's a bunch of she's like all the things on the island are like weird chimeras like that. It's really cool.
How does that work?
I don't know. It's stuff, experiments, Brian. Read the book, you'll find out. But
Okay.
it is really, really good, and I'm excited to read the rest of the Nemesis saga because I've only read that and the first 2 books, but I'm planning on reading like all of them, including the ones that are like in the same universe but not directly related to it. So yeah, Island 731 by Jeremy Robinson. It's very, very good. I think there's a comic series that I don't think ever got finished because it didn't sell well, but there are 3 issues of it, so it doesn't. But it doesn't.
Sad.
Yeah, with art by Jeff Zorno, our
Hmm.
good pal from the Godzilla Rulers of Earth comics.
Yes.
But yeah, that's the cool new kaiju thing I've been checking out. So
Hmm. I just realized that when you mentioned Jared, I forgot to say friend of the show.
oh my god. Well, you did it
Friend of the
now.
show.
It's fine. You
Oh yeah. Didn't miss it. All
yeah,
right.
there you go.
Cool.
All right.
Well, with
Well,
that, I mean, I guess we're
I
done.
guess we're done for the
Guess we're
day.
done.
Yeah.
Thus concludes our conversation on Godzilla King of the Monsters in this episode.
Yeah. I have no idea what we're
Yeah.
gonna do next week.
I don't know either.
Well, we got time. We got 2 weeks to prepare.
I know we've got something in the works for our Christmas special.
We do, which reminds me, I gotta fucking buy the movie.
Yeah,
I should do
you
that
gotta.
because
Yeah.
I have a link to it online, but it's in like fucking 480p, and I don't really want to watch it in 480p.
Mm. But yeah, I mean, until then, we'll be figuring it out. And if you have any recommendations or ideas,
Yeah,
feel free to hit us up on the
absolutely.
Facebook, Twitter, or now Instagram page,
Yeah,
which is
our Instagram
far
page.
more.
Yeah, we're doing real well on Instagram. I'm entirely more active on Instagram than any of
Yeah.
our other socials. I'm posting. I'm. I hope this doesn't do our thing where it makes you not be able to hear me, but I'm going to take a picture of recording right now just to post as a behind the scenes kind of thing.
I can still hear you.
Well, for now, let's see. There we go.
Cool.
Picture taken. New Instagram post. You heard it here
Nice.
first, folks. You're gonna all be on Instagram. Everyone who if you at me on Instagram and said you heard this part in the podcast, I'll tag you in that picture retroactively. But yeah, I'm posting stuff like that.
Go back and edit the post.
Yeah, I'm posting like collection stuff. I posted a video of my new Mondo Return of Godzilla vinyl I was listening to the other day, which is really, really nice. I'm very glad I got that. Yeah, so go follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Talking Toku and Instagram at Talking Toku Official. And I think
That's the one I landed on.
Yeah. I think that's it then.
Yeah, that's it for today's show.
Yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed. Please share with your friends if you think they like the big monster stuff. Yeah. Until next time.
And you too can become friends of the show. Maybe.
Oh my God, if we ever do a Patreon, that's got to be one of our tiers.
It's gonna be the tier.
It's gonna be that's got to be our main tier. Is friend of the show. That has to be
Friend
it.
of the show. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it.
All right. Well, without further ado, I am David, your host, David Scrivani. That's me. That's my name.
I'm Brian, your other host, not co-host, because that means I'm lesser.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Good night. Enjoy. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving. This.
Thanksgiving.
I don't know
Eat
if I'll
lots
have
of
this
food.
out. I don't know if I'll have this out by Thanksgiving, but we'll see.
Well, it's 2 days from Thanksgiving now, so
Yeah. I mean, I usually try to get these out by Friday, but.
Well, we hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Hope you had a
We
good
hope
Thanksgiving.
you ate lots of food, but not too much because you don't want to gain weight.
Well, it's Thanksgiving. Everyone gains weight on Thanksgiving.
But you don't want to get health-related issues due to weight.
Oh yeah, that's a different thing. But
so if you did gain weight, go to the gym.
there you go.
Cool.
Okay. Goodbye,
All right.
everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.